Hey, this is Sachon Sunny, and welcome to another podcast of Unlimited. For many years, I never thought that I could live a life that I always dreamed. I never thought that I could, teach people. I could be able to train people. I would be able to set up a company and then, impact organizations and communities and societies. I never thought that I would be able to write a book. These things were just some distant visions that I had when I was sleeping. So of course I did have dreams, but I never believed in them. I never believed in them because I never thought that they were such possibilities. The thing about life is we learn from our life experiences. We learn from what we see, what we hear, what we taste. So life gives us a lot of lessons, sometimes pleasant ones, sometimes very difficult ones, sometimes very unpleasant ones. So when we get all these different dynamics or different sorts of all the experiences, we predict the future based on what we have experienced. So we use our past experiences, past memories as a route map for the future. So we create the path toward the future based on what I expect, what I saw, what I did, what I experienced. And that was the same thing, all my life, the only thing that I saw was failures. I never really, got the chance to be loved. I never really got the chance to be appreciated. I wasn't recognized, although I did have all the qualities in me to be recognized, to be loved, to be appreciated. And those experiences taught me one thing, that, never approach people, never, do the things that you fail at doing, because that gives you pain. And I started to avoid all those situations. And what happened was I started to avoid living an authentic life. I started to avoid this feeling of me inside me. So I always felt that there was so much more that I could do, so much more that I am capable of, but I was never be able to bring it out because I believed the opposite. I believed that it was not possible. Believing in the possibility, believing in that, the possibility exists out there in the future, actually allow you to shift your perception from that thing being impossible to being possible. So as long as you look through the perspective filters of the yesterdays, you may not be able to see what lies ahead. If you want to see it, I encourage you to look from a different perspective. Look from a complete different perspective. What if you were to live your dream? What if you were to achieve your goals? What if you were to, just lead that very life that you always dreamed of? What if you were to do that? And from my experience, research, studies, and from interviewing, seeing, hearing, listening to all the people who have succeeded in their lives, one thing that I discovered was that, success is the result of believing in the impossibles and doing the work that is necessary to get that work done. That's it. That's it. It's a seeing that impossible, in that, seeing that possibility when nobody else believing in you. Nobody else believe in you. If you do not believe in your dreams, if you do not believe in your visions, who else is going to believe in you? No one else. No one else. So take this as an opportunity. Maybe people might have told you lots of different opinions about you. They may have said that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy enough, that you may not be able to achieve it, that you may not be able to make it happen. That just say no to those naysayers. Just say no to those naysayers. They say that they can't do, or that you cannot do something when they see the impossibility, because they are looking at that impossibilities. In their eyes, it's just an impossible task because they have never done this before, because they have never tried it before, because they have never heeded to the people who have done it differently. So I encourage you to start believing in your dreams. Start believing your dreams. You deserve to lead the life that you really want to lead. You deserve that kind of life. You deserve to be happy, deserve to be wealthy, to be appreciated, to be joyful. You deserve that kind of life, and it's possible to lead that. And the first step is believing in yourself. Believe in yourself. When I started my journey, it was quite hard for me to believe. Even, sometimes I really thought, oh my God, what am I doing by this? Why do I need to just repeat these self-affirmations? I didn't like to repeat those, positive affirmation that I can do, that I am possible, that, I can be great, that I can start this, that I love myself. I didn't like any of those stuff because they did not explain any of the traits that I had in me when I was starting this. I didn't have any of those traits. And how could I repeat that? How could I just simply say I'm great when I am not? And that was devastating. And I thought many times to just give up this crap and let it go. This is not my path. And many times I asked myself, but I didn't have any other choice. If I were to just leave it behind and, just to remain where I was, I would still live a very miserable life. I wouldn't be able to appreciate the life that I wouldn't be able to go after my dreams. But here is a possibility. Here is a possibility. And I saw that possibility. I thought, okay, let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try. And I tried and I tried and I tried. Many times I failed. And it was a learning. It was a learning. I started to learn. As I fall, I get up, fall, I get up, and then again I fall, I get up. But the miracle happened was that, as I began to take this journey of greatness, as I began to take each step, the thing that happened was the rates of failures began to decrease phenomenally. The rate of my failures and the mistakes that I happened to make actually began to decrease. When I say I just would like to say, I actually began to, this talk, especially talking in front of a camera, I think just 1 year or 2 years back. But I wasn't consistent. I didn't do it consistently day by day. Because for me, it was very uncomfortable just to stand in front of camera and just speak it. And sometimes where I had to, give the tips and techniques that I even made some mistakes. And it was like, I was deceiving myself, but I kept doing it. And the only way to master it is to practice through practice. And that's exactly what I did. I kept trying. Now I can just, be in front of you as if I was just standing or sitting in front of you, and I can just talk all and again I can talk. And this is possible because of the, the practice that I have gone through. Now, I would love to tell you how this is actually happening in your biological level, in a physiological level, because in a physiological level, this is a complete different one. Imagine this is okay. So how your brain perceives information is every time when you see something, when you listen to some words or when you listen to some music, what happens is your brain receives that information and then registers it. Okay, so every time you go through that message, you just revisit that same experience, or you just, go through the same information again and again over a period of time. It becomes strengthened. That information becomes strengthened and hardwired. And you can see here, if you were to just take some MRI scan or, just probe your brain, you can literally see connections, neural connections being made as you learn something new, as you see something new. And that then once, for example, when you see something new, that then become associated, that neural connection become associated with something that you learned before in your past, right? So this is just, everything that you do is just the connection, the information being associated in your brain. And then that, and once it becomes strengthened, that becomes a part of you, then that's your identity. So, just harnessing a particular skill or harnessing a particular way of talking or behavior is just practice. It's just a practice. Once you practice and master it, it becomes hardwired in your brain, and then it becomes your second skin. Now it's quite easy. Now you do it as if you don't have any problem with it, as if you are a natural person, right? And exactly, this is all about life. This is about practice. This is how you master your life. So I tell you, if you have an anxiety, or if you have a depression, if you have any mental problems that are actually preventing you from being the person that you want to become, I tell you, I tell you this, that start exploring the possibilities, start believing in the impossibilities, start believing in the possibilities, because when you start believing in those impossibilities, when you start believing, that your dream, that the very invention that you want to invent, the very thing that you want to achieve in your life exists somewhere in the future. When you start believing in it, you start to explore, you start to see the possibilities coming up to you, So, I'll tell you how I, just actually published my book. My journey actually has been an amazing journey. I have had lots of ups and downs. Now, more downs than ups. I was when I started my journey, I was physically, mentally, and emotionally abused. I had a very rough childhood. I wasn't loved. I was abandoned. I wasn't, recognized. So I had all sorts of traumatic experience from my childhood. And that when I grew up, the problem was I learned all these learning mechanisms, all these coping mechanisms with me. And, I began to act very awkwardly. I was afraid to stand in front of public. I was afraid to look into people's eyes and say something, without being afraid of without having this fear to be without having the fear to just stand in front of them. So I often even was scared to death when I give a presentation or something, because it's because of those experiences actually taught me one lesson, that it's not, you are not worthy, it's not possible for you, you cannot do it. People might not like your way of standing, way of presenting. So these were the hardwired instructions that were in my manual, in my brain. And just imagine if I were to take that manual and just go ahead, how would I just win my life? I wouldn't be able to. That's the reason why I needed to change my course, the course that I had here. And I started. When I started, it was difficult, but it gave me an answer, the answer that I always have been asking, seeking, which is you can live your dream. You can. And it's not an easy task. It's not something that you can do you can just appear it out of blue. You cannot. It's not a magical thing. You need to work on it. You need to go after slowly, bit by bit, step by step, pace by pace, one after another. You have to just go after it. So it requires effort. It requires practice. It requires self-discipline. It requires courage, gut, to get out of your comfort zone and start living that. It requires a lot of practice, but it's not impossible. That possibility exists right in front of you. So my question is, are you willing to take this journey? Are you willing to take this journey? If you say yes, keep watching, because we'll be learning about how to open these long cherished dreams. So so I have had this. So I started to reach, just reprogram my mind. Started to reprogram my thoughts and everything else. And when I started that journey, I didn't have any idea how to take each steps, how to take, how to move from A to B, because I didn't know how to connect this A from B. I didn't have the information, the techniques, or the skills. But here, you're going to learn the skills, the techniques that are necessary for you to actually connect these dots. They're actually simple. And I'm going to just open to you all those techniques and the skills that are necessary for you to just to use it. And then if you were to use it, practice it on a daily basis. I give you this word, that you will be able to live your dream. So if you are ready to take this journey with me, if you're ready to unlock your dreams and to live that possibilities, stay tuned, because I'm going to teach you the techniques, the methods and the skills and all the necessary things that are necessary for you to build your next empire. If you're no matter if you may be a businessman, maybe a CEO of a company, maybe someone who doesn't have any ground, and you may be just lying there, unable to get up, not having enough information to live your dreams. No matter where you are in your life, if you really have a desire that is as strong as fire, then let me tell you something. Take this journey with me right now. Take this journey with me, and we'll be going throughout these sections, learning about the secret, the science behind creating success, achieving our impossible dreams. So here is the first thing that I want you to do. The first thing, take a piece of paper and note down your dreams. Note down your dreams. Write down your dreams. Yes, that's it. It's very simple. Note down your dreams. Have you ever done this before? I have done. Now, if you were to look there, I have a big, vision board there. I have a big vision board there. I wrote all my dreams, the things that I want to achieve, the things that I want to do, the goals that I have. So I actually, years back, I had a big diary in which I actually wrote my 50 goals. And of course, I was very serious about it, very serious, because I believed, after the research, after study, after, listening to all the people, one thing that I was very sure of was that anything that you can conceive in your mind is possible, because we lived those possibilities. We lived those possibilities for thousands of years. We lived those possibilities. Now, if you were to just look back into the history of the world, you see that, before any invention of any new technology or any new inventions, people would have written about it, imagined about it. If you just look into the history, just look through the literature, that's exactly what you find. First, they write about, they imagine, this would be the future. And what? Now, today, we are living that future. Years ago, I think in the 18th century, people wrote about a watch, talking watch. Now you can simply use your watch and talk to people from all over the world. 18th century, years back, right? Now we have such devices, devices that actually connects us from all around the world. Devices that actually helps us, that takes us, our attention completely away from where we are, from our physical presence, from our physical habitat, to a complete virtual reality. We live in a virtual world. How is that possible? People once imagined that, and that imagination led that to discover something better, discover all the things that we have today. And I tell you, if you imagine, if you think that you have the power of imagination, you can live your dream. You can live your dream. So here is the first thing. Take a piece of paper, note down your dreams. What are your dreams? The things that you want to achieve. Note down. The first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to write a book, and I wrote a book. I want to start a company. I started a company. I want to coach people. I started to coach people. I wanted to be, I want to, I never thought even taking psychology. I studied psychology. Oh my God, just think about this, because, now, to be frank, I am a son of an auto rickshaw driver. A son of auto rickshaw driver. My father, used to earn just 500 rupees every day, 500 rupees. And I thought that I would never be able to, lead such, such a life that I always dreamed. I always thought that, because I never believed that those things were possible until I changed my perception. So I encourage you to change your perception. Change that perception of not possible into possible. See that possibility. Your dream exists in the future, but that requires tremendous effort, that requires discipline, that requires, the information, techniques, and knowledge, wisdom. And we will be taking that journey together. So first the first thing is write down your dreams. So write down your dreams one by one, no matter how big they are. Don't think, don't limit your present reality. Do not let your present reality limit your vision, limit your imagination. Do not let your present reality. Maybe you may be broke. You may be having a very bad relationship. Maybe you may be lost, maybe abandoned, may have a very difficult life to lead. You may have lost almost, all your good qualities that you think that you made you who you are. But wherever you are in your life circumstances, wherever you are, you're not lost. It's not the end of it. It's not the end. You can start again. It's possible. So just dig out that long cherished dreams. Take one by one, write it down. You want to climb the Himalaya mountains. You want to be the richest guy in the world. So one of the things that people probably ask, okay, so there is only one guy who can be richest, right? But the truth is, you can be rich in many other fields. You can be the happiest person in the world. Now, that doesn't literally mean, because for different people, happiness is completely different. So you can be the person that you want to be, instead of just, competing, because we are not competing against anyone, because that's not possible. Right? So not down your dreams. Do not let your present circumstances, present reality limit your vision, limit your imagination, limit your dreams. Let those circumstances, let your present circumstances, your present reality drive you. Give you enough power and energy to go through that. What I did, especially whenever I failed at something, one thing that I did was I would often, raise the bar of my goals. I would raise the bars of my goals. That's what I used to do. Every time I failed, I would repeat myself, okay, so if I fail in it, I'm going to master that. And I would try and try and try. And it requires me a lot of tremendous effort. It requires me of, practice, self-discipline. And if you are willing to put that discipline, that effort, your time, your, personal investment into that dream is not a impossible dream anymore. It's a reality. It's a reality, something that can be accessed with the right information, right skill, and right knowledge. And you can do that. You can live that dream. So note it down. If you're writing down, just what I say is just pause a moment. Put a very nice, good music, and then write down each of your dreams. And I repeat, do not let your dreams, your present reality, limit your vision, limit your dreams, limit your life. Do not let it limit you, because you're, unlimited, because you are, you have superpowers. You can overcome any problems that comes to you. So pause this video for a moment and then Now, write down all the long cherished dreams that you have buried deep within. Do it now. Once you have written down all your dreams, all your goals, the second thing is acknowledge your potential. Acknowledge your potential. See the greatness within. Acknowledge that you can and that you are capable, that you are the possibility. When at the beginning of my journey, I was I always was afraid to take the journey, afraid to take to go into the wilderness. And I doubted myself. I doubted myself because I never thought that I had the ability. I thought, no, I would get it from somewhere else. I would get it from people. Perhaps I thought that I might be able to muster it from somewhere. There might be some source where I get this energy. And then I realized there is no such source except within you. The source is within you. It's not outside. It doesn't get it when you buy some new camera. It doesn't get when you go to a new places. It doesn't get when you visit a new places. It doesn't get when you meet the right person in your life. It doesn't get, because it lies within you. That potential is buried within you. It's within you. It's there. It's right there. It has been there all the time, and it's still there. My question is, are you heeding? Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you acknowledge that this potential that lies within you? Now, just let me take you this. Now, just imagine you wanted to get a 5 lakh rupees tomorrow, or just a $5,000 tomorrow, right? And now imagine you only get around just a couple of dollars, just $3 or $5 or $6 every day. That's your that's your wage every day. And you wouldn't, if I were to ask for example, you wanted to start a business tomorrow, and I ask you, do you have $5,000 with you to start this business? You will say, no, you don't have. You might say, I don't think that I can, get that money in this year or the next year, because that's a huge amount of money. And for me, when I started my journey, that was the same case. Whenever I began to start something, the same question came to me. Where would I get this? Where would I get that? Where would I get people? Where would I get money? Where would I get these ideas? How would I do this? I doubted myself instead of believing in myself, instead of seeing that potential. And the truth is, when you believe in yourself, when you see what others cannot see you start the journey to greatness. That's how you begin your journey. Acknowledge yourself. Now, let me come back to the story again. So imagine you wanted a 5 lakh rupees. And so now this time, the need is different. Now, this time, the need is you're going to lose your loved one, right? You're going to lose that loved one. And your loved one's life is at stake unless you get this 5 lakh rupees or, this $5,000. Now, my question is, would you be able to make that amount? Would you be? Yes, indeed. And probably I think that you have done it before, right? You have done it. You never thought that, you could make such a big amount of money, but you somehow did it, right? Because that need was bigger. That need was bigger. And when the need is bigger, I would love to repeat this. When the need is bigger, your investment to accomplish that need is also bigger. When the need is bigger. So I just would love to repeat that again. When your need is bigger, when it is something absolutely necessary and you cannot say no, when it becomes so imperative that you cannot sit there continuously, because it's impossible for you to sit, and it's impossible for you to say no to that need. And when that need becomes so much bigger, You will start to, explore the possibilities. But now at the moment, what happens is that need becomes so bigger. Now your very existence becomes that need, right? And for you, that's the one goal that now you're driven by. And you start to seek, okay, where do I see the possibility? Where do I get this money? Where would I go? Who would I meet? Okay, what kind of language do I use? How can I get this money? You're driven by that very need. And when you're driven by that need, when you're driven by something, stronger, something bigger than yourself, you will make it happen. So you have the potential, to make certain things happen, even though at first you thought that it's impossible. You have that potential. Now, if you have that potential, to make that happen within a few days or a couple of hours, you also have the potential to change your life in a year or in a couple of years. You have that potential to completely rewrite your destiny. You have the potential. People have done it. Many organizations have done it. Many communities have done it. And I saw it with my 2 eyes. I saw it. I heard their stories. I interviewed them. I talked to them. I met to them. I saw their transformation. And myself, I did that transformation. I went through that transformation. And I know for this sure that you have immense potential buried deep within, unless you acknowledge that. Unless you believe in that potential, your attempt would be just futile. So believe that it's possible. Believe that you can do it. Believe that, when you start to believe that potential, you start to see the possibilities exist everywhere. So now you have written down your dreams, and now you have started to acknowledge your potential. Now, before that, I just would love to ask you some questions. Number one is, do you think, is there any other belief that are actually preventing you from believing, from taking out all this potential? Is there anything else? Do you have any limited belief, any limited habits, or any limited thinking that actually prevents you from believing in your potential, from taking this potential out? Do you have? If you have, look around your life, look around the environment, see for yourself if there is anything that is causing you to live a very limited life. Is there anything that are causing you to lead a very unpopular life? Do you have anything? Maybe it's some belief that it has been fed in you for years ago. Maybe people have told you that you're not worth enough. People may have told you that you may not have the ability to do that. People tell different things, different stories. That's what they do. They try to discourage you. And there are only very few people who who sees that true power in you. Only a few people. And if you're lucky enough, you might be in that surroundings. You might be in that environment. If you're unlucky, probably you are in the wrong place. And if you're at the wrong place, find out what are the things you can do to remove those negative beliefs. Find out. Sometimes you can just change your routines. You can change your habits. You can change the way you talk to yourself. You can change how you approach them. You can change because it's up to you. It's up to you. You decide what kind of life you want to live. You decide where you spend your time, how you spend your time, on what thing you spend your time. You decide. It's within you. The decision is within you. So I just would love to ask you again. Is there anything else that are preventing you from realizing that potential, from seeing that potential? I know that because many times, I think when I was studying in 10th class, I used to wash buses. Wash buses. And for me, it was a way of, getting some money, because I needed money back then. I was very, my family was bankrupt, and we were running out of money. We didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough money to get education. So this job would help me to gain some money. So I started working, cleaning the buses. That's how I started my journey. That's where I started. That's how I first earned money. And so I would wash every day. I would wash buses, and to the outside world, I was just nobody. There were still people. And when I was actually started to transition my life from being nobody to being somebody, from when I started taking my life from having no control to taking full control of my life, to taking full ownership of my life, I started to get away from the bad relationship, bad people, who actually pulled me back. And when I started that, people still doubted me. They doubted me, that guy, he's not going to make it. And those voices often prevented me from taking all my effort. Sometimes those voices, encouraged me from staying back. I just would love to ask you this. Is there any voices that are still preventing you from leaving the shell behind, leaving the boats behind? Are you still inside these boats because of the voice in your head? Because of voices that you hear from your surroundings? And if you're still there because of the voice, then I tell you, get out of that voice. Say not to the voice. Stop it. You can stop it. You can stop listening to them, right? It's up to you. You have the power. It's up to you. So let's say not to that. Say not to those opinions. Now, when I say not to the opinions, just ignore them. Ignore them. Now, sometimes I also use their opinions in order to help me out to raise my bar. Sometimes when people say you can't do something, I prove them that they are wrong by showing them, by making that very thing possible. But I wouldn't do it just in order to make, prove to them. I do it to prove it to myself, I do it because it's my passion. I do it because I want to do it. So you can say no to naysayers, not to all the people who criticize you, who simply find out all the faults in you, who simply just give their opinion. So you can say no to them. And sometimes you can take those opinions, those criticisms as your fuel to take the next journey. And that's what I did throughout my life. When people say, Sachin, you can't, I take them, put them in goals bar, and I achieve them. And most of the times, people said things that I cannot do when I try to achieve. When I try to go after certain goals. Of course, they do have the freedom to do that. They can say no, they can, say their opinions. It's all possible because they have the freedom to do so. So let them say. But it's up to me whether I want to listen or not. It's up to me. It's up to me whether I want to take their opinion and put in my heart or in my brain, where I analyze it and use it for the further course. And that's exactly what I did. I took those opinions, put in my brain, and I asked myself, how would I use this opinion to change my life course? How would I use this information to actually help me grow instead of, letting it eat myself or eat my fuel? I don't want it to finish my fuel. I don't want it to, eat my fuel. I want those opinions. So I started to take those opinions as fuels so that, I can go farther. But there is one dangerous thing, that is Never ever do something because you just want to prove to others. Never do it. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because that's your passion. That's where your energy. That's where you get your fuel. And if there is a bigger picture, if you can see the why, because you are contributing to your personal growth as well as the growth of your community. When if you're doing that, then do it. Do it. So acknowledge your potential. Also acknowledge every negative things that are pulling you back and move ahead. And once you acknowledge your potential, the next thing that you want to do is actually, to set up a vision board. To set up a vision board. What is a vision board? The thing about life is when we take this life's journey, sometimes we lose our visions, we lose our focus, and we get distracted. We see the big things, our goals started to fulfill, and we started to go through our journey, and it's really amazing sometimes, when we take that journey ahead, the problem is we get distracted, and lots of other things, pleasurable things, comforting things will come to us, and they ask us to give a few minutes for it. So we just, okay, let's take a break. And we sometimes forget to come back to our track and move ahead. It's necessary to take some time off from your world to relax and to enjoy the nature. It's necessary, it's imperative, and it's a part of life. But do not let the material things, the comforting things, take control of your personal life. Do not let them, but enjoy them. Now use them. Sometimes it's necessary to relax and watch a movie. Sometimes it's really relaxing and helpful to take some time off and take a walk, and it's necessary. Sometimes it's also sometimes really helpful if you go to a casino and play something. Sometimes gamble something, but it does not define your future. It does not control your life. If you want to just to enjoy it, you can use it. That's because life is all about just having this balance between the things that we want to accomplish, between the things that we want to do. That's our responsibilities towards us, towards our personal life, towards our society, our family, and our the whole world. Plus we also have a responsibility. We also need to enjoy our life, as well as we need to see the beauty around, enjoy these material things. So sometimes it's really good to play on your to just engage in some games or some activities, but do not take control. Let it take control of you. Do not let it take control of you. So that's why I tell you to start, keep a vision board where you write your visions, your goals. So years ago, I started to write this vision board. I have a big board, a notice board, where I write my goals. So I have all the goals written down there in a big letter. So every time I woke up, I would go and look at it, and I see this. Now I know where exactly I'm heading. I know I'm going there, right? I'm going to accomplish my goals. I'm going to live my dream. I know every day, every single day, I wake up and I look at it. Wow, today I'm going to achieve this. Sometimes I fall. Sometimes I get disappointments. Sometimes I fall into, stress. Sometimes I get busy, but I get back to my track because I have a vision board. I have something, far beyond, something bigger, the big why in front of me. So as long as I have this focus, I do not lose control of my life. I know where I'm going. one of our dream, one of I mean, it's not a dream, one of our mission, actually, the Beacons Academy, the academy's mission is to um, is to create a global community of leaders, 50 million global community of leaders. That's our dreams. That's so we have already a group of global leaders with us, and we are taking this journey further. So I need to completely be focused on that dream, be focused on it. So I do not, I do not let any other things, any other comforting things, any of my worries, any of my stress, I never let those things control my visions. So I have a vision there always. So when I wake up in the morning, I know why I wake up. I know my journey. I know what I need to do today. No matter how late it might be, I finish my work and go to sleep peacefully. Thinking, believing, hoping that I have done my work for 2 days, and let's rest. Tomorrow start again. So have a vision board, a big vision board. So when I ask you having a vision board, I also want to ask you this. What's your why? What is your why? Actually, we discussed this in our earlier episode, but what's your big why? Because you put your whys on this vision board. You put your goals, your whys, your missions, your visions on this vision board, so that you always know where you want to take your life. You always know where you want to be focused. You always know the next step. So my question again is, what's your why? When I started my journey, I was driven by one vision, which is I want to use my every struggle that I have had in my life, and knowledge and skills that I have learned throughout my life. I want to use this, knowledge, experience, and these skills that I have learned, developed, and I'm going to develop. So I want to use them to help my society, to help my community, my company, my people in a global level. So I had this vision when I started. That's why where I am today. That's why I'm here. Because I was driven by a vision, not just some sort of just some material goals that I want to make a lot of money. That's not what I was driven by. I was driven by a vision. I wanted to build a community of leaders. I wanted to make people's lives better. I wanted to see the smiles of little girls and little boys. So I had a noble cause when I started this journey. And that's when because since I had this noble cause just right there, right in front of me, I could not give up. Every day, sometimes I wake up and I realize, oh my God, I don't have enough money to face that person. I don't have enough money to go there. I don't have enough money to make this happen. So I have had lots of things, stuff, or excuses to just get away from it. But this bigger why, the bigger need, the bigger vision actually helped me to stay back to my track and move ahead. So I always have this vision. So set a vision board. So before setting a vision board, just if you haven't watched our previous episode, just ask yourself, what's my why? What's my why? What's your why? What is your why? Do you have a why? The reason that you wake up tomorrow. Why do you wake up tomorrow? If you don't have any why, don't worry. You can make one. But do not let that be just a material goal, just running after some money, because once you have money, what else next, right? The great companies, great organizations, great communities, they start to influence people, influence leaders, influence the culture, the tradition, influence our lifestyle, because they have a noble cause. They have a why. They want to make people's lives better. They want to influence people. They want to, make people's lives much more simpler so that they can take their truest, the full potential and make that, that goal, they can help them to reach their goals much easier. But having said that, achieving a certain goal is never easier. Achieving a goal is never easier. It becomes more complex because, this is a competitive world. But the good news is you never want to compete with one another. You never want to. The only one thing that you want to compete is against yourself. Against yourself. Your enemy and your friend is you. You are the enemy of yourself and the wonderful friend of yourself. So write down your whys, your mission, the very thing that you want to do with your life. What is it that I want to do with my life when I leave this planet? What is it that I wanted to do with my life? What is the very thing that I wanted to give to people? I often ask this question myself. When I leave this planet, how do my people remember me? How do they remember me? Do they remember me for just existing here, for being a good brother, or is there some other reasons beyond that, beyond being a good husband? Is there some other reason? So find out your big why, because the bigger the why, the bigger your energy, the bigger your passion. So that, when your why becomes so much bigger, you get this energy from deeper within. You get that internal energy every day when you wake up and you look at that vision board, you look at that board there, right there, and you wrote there, okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is where I am going. This is what people will remember me for. And when you start every day thinking, just, doing or, living that very goal, every day, that very cause every day, you leave a legacy behind. That's how you leave a signature in the world. So have a vision board. Note down your visions, your whys, the big things that you want to achieve, the bigger picture. What is it that I want to contribute to my society? What is it that I want to contribute to my community, to my people, to my company, to my organization? What is it? Who am I to them? Just a boss, or a person who transforms their lives? Just a teacher, or a person who transforms the lives of the children? Or just a husband or a wife, or a lifelong companion who keeps pushing you beyond the limitations? Who do you want to be remembered for? How do you want to be remembered? Think about it. Ask yourself and note down the big picture in your life. And once you find out this big why, note it down in your vision board in big letters, because that big why is the center picture where your life is centered. That's where you are going. That's your path and your goal. Next, the second thing that you want to do in your vision board is to write down your goals. Now you have already done it. You have, written down all your goals, all your dreams. The next thing is take those dreams, take those goals, and write down in your vision board. Now, how do you do that? Now, I have a very good strategy for that. So, your vision is the big why. So that's what you do with your life, your whole life, and your goal is each milestones in your life. So you can just take your goal, take your vision, take your mission that you want to achieve in your life, and take them into small goals. So for me, my goal is to transform the lives of people. I wanted to create a 15 million leaders. So I have divided them into small goals. One is I want to, start a training and start a company, and I want to, build a university. So I have these small goals, and when I put them, join them, what happens is each of these goals take me closer to my vision, closer to my mission, closer to the very cause I am for. And I also have to achieve each goal. I also have each sub goal. So how do I want to be remembered for this goal? How do I take this goal? How do I transform this community by doing this task, by accomplishing this goal? So that I am not only achieving something for myself, I am also doing, I'm existing, I'm working, I am being here for someone else, for a community, for my organization. So you are spreading your greatness, not only in your family, not only within your circle, but you're spreading it throughout the world, making your habitat environment much better. And that's what I want you to do. So now write down your vision board, write down your goals, your why at the center of your vision board, and then change them into small goals. Change them into small goals, and place them, based on the year that you want to accomplish. So, for example, there may be, some of the goals you want to achieve this year. Some of them could be after 5 years. So, prioritize these goals. Prioritize them. Prioritize them. Prioritizing will help you to put a timeline to each of these goals, and will help you, how you need to approach toward your cause that you are standing for. So prioritize. Once you have written down, written down all the goals that you want to achieve, to find out, to fulfill that very cause. Now you need to do is find out the very thing that you want to do this year and the next year. So prioritize them. Create a priority list. And once you make this priority list, you can write down a map toward the future. This is the map toward the future. Now you have written down the very first thing, the very thing that you want to accomplish, which is you have made a map toward the future. And that's fantastic. And now you can use this map to achieve the very thing that you want to do with your life. Now, I want you to just close your eyes and imagine this. Imagine this. You're just standing right there, wherever you're standing, and nobody is just, standing there. Nobody else is just with you. You're alone. Just imagine this. Imagine you have become the person that you wanted to become. Now you have become the very person, the very cause that you wanted to fulfill. You have become that person. And believe in yourself. Repeat yourself that it's possible. Repeat yourself that you can do this. Repeat yourself, I am a whole being. Although I have these limitations, weaknesses, although I have these holes, I am also whole. I have strength. I have visions. I have, goals, dreams. And repeat yourself, and you're going to achieve them. You're going to accomplish them. And it's possible. Believe strongly. Believe in that potential. Believe it. It's possible. And then start writing your visions. Start writing your goals. Once you have written down your goals, your vision at the center, your big why at the center, and then prioritize your goals and note down your goals and put them according to the timeline. And once you have done that, paste it somewhere where you can see. Paste it somewhere where you can see. You can paste it in your living room or in your room. Every time when you wake up, that's the very thing that you want to see. That's the very thing that you want to see. So you wake up in the morning and you look at it and you're driven by that vision. And it's also necessary to check your vision time to time every year so that you can refine it, so that you will know exactly, because you may not be able to define your vision at first hand. But as you take your journey further, you will be able to refine it, making it something, making it as accurate as possible, helping you to clearly see where you're going. So acknowledge your potential and then note down your vision, write down your vision board, put up your vision board somewhere where you can see. And then we will see you in the next section, next episode. I will help you throughout your journey to discover who you truly are, to rediscover your true potential, and to rediscover your true self.